Rise and Grind gamers.
You said you had something to open this.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Gamers?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. But anyway, welcome back to White Lotus.
White Lotus and Avatar podcast.
With Shannon and Hannah, because we didn't mention that last
Oh
time.
yeah, sorry we didn't say our names. Also, can anyone decipher our voices? Like, can you tell who is who?
Like, I showed this to my dad, and he said he couldn't.
He couldn't?
Yeah. He was like, who's who?
I asked someone...
Oh, my bad. Just ate a lot of mozzarella sticks, man. I was literally crying for mozzarella sticks.
I know. She literally gave me, like, all the money she has to her name and said, go to the store, please. You can buy mozzarella sticks. You can buy whatever you want with the remaining money. I got gas. I don't know if you knew that.
Are you serious? How much did that cost?
No, I had to because it was, like...
Oh my God.
The tank was literally empty. I was
What's
running.
in my bank account? Is there anything left in my bank account?
Hannah's checking your bank account right now.
This is so
I also
sad.
bought, like, Oreos and junk food that, like, I wouldn't spend on myself.
Yeah, because...
But I also, like, I could have bought so many more things. Yeah, I only spent $10 and also $6 of gas.
Do you know what I bought, literally yesterday at Walmart?
No.
I bought another plant. I have 5 plants in my room now. And one in the bathroom.
Well, you haven't killed those yet.
Actually, the succulent, I did kill.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's dead.
I don't understand how that happened. It's literally, a succulent.
I know. The thing about succulents is that you literally cannot kill them.
And you did it. Congrats. You're welcome. That wasn't the right response. Today we're talking about Book 1, Chapter 5.
Yeah.
Omashu. No, what's it called?
King of Omashu.
King of Omashu.
Because King Boomy's in the house. Ooh, ooh.
He's a member of White Lotus.
Take a shot of water every time a White Lotus member joins the scene. Technically, that would have been the first episode because Uncle Iroh is in the White Lotus. Because they always play Pai Sho with the White Lotus thingy. And they're like, ooh.
It's like, oh, the White Lotus style. It's,
I'm begging you to stop. Yeah, but honestly, so we did, like, our first, live stream while watching the episode. So we literally did not gain anything. My head was too much filled with clout because we had 8 viewers.
What do you keep saying that? What do you mean we didn't gain anything?
Like,
you definitely gained pounds. We ate like 5 Oreos.
I know, it's disgusting. But, like, from the episode, we didn't gain anything.
Oh, yeah. Because the first 4 episodes, we don't really watch it. Probably because we don't have the disc for it.
Yeah.
But this is an episode, it's the one where Aang goes back to Omashu, and he does the 3, or I guess 5 tasks for King Boomy, and meets his old friend. But it's an episode that we've watched so many times. It's just one of those discs, you know? You just pop it in, press play, and enjoy the ride.
It's one of the more iconic episodes because it has King Boomy in it. But...
Oh, also, I think everyone should take a shot every time we say, but anyway, because we say that so many
literally.
times.
God,
also,
y'all are gonna be so hydrated.
Literally, or like, it's like the stereotypes of teenagers and whatnot saying, like, but and literally, I try not to be a part of that, but it just comes so naturally. Mm-hmm. I think it's the internet taking its toll on my speech habits.
It's us thinking about what we're gonna say while we're saying it. So while we're planning
it's like a buffer.
It's a buffer. While
I
we're
guess
planning
it's a
out
better
our
buffer
sentence.
than Okay, but then how do you explain literally?
To accentuate things.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I'm literally like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does have a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely has like a new
just
meaning.
Just like any curse words. Honestly, any curse word is just like an accentuator to the whole subject.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll see someone will say like a more clean word instead of like a curse word, and sometimes I think, you know, it doesn't mean anything if you don't say it.
Literally, the word means nothing.
Like, I'm not one for cursing, but sometimes it's just necessary.
Heck. God. Cactus tumblers coming for my brand. Oh, God.
But as we roll into the episode, we've got the gang flying into Omashu. They're right outside the gate. This is what confused me, because there's one with like the iconic wall around it. And
that's Ba Sing Se.
I know.
Literally, Ba Sing Se is so iconic.
But this one has a huge wall around it, too, that I mean, you have to, like, have a passport, I guess, sort of, technically, to enter.
Donald Trump wishes. He wishes he could. Oh my god. Carly's
Our
right
sister
outside
Carly
the
is
door.
opening my door to a crack. She's crawling, army crawling, so we can try and not see her, but we clearly see her.
Yeah.
She always finds a way to inch her way onto this podcast.
I know. She's really gonna end up, like, running this show by the end of it.
So the episode starts off with the gang right outside the gates to Omashu, and they're trying to figure out how to get
Omashu's backstory. Go.
Omashu's backstory. Yeah. I don't remember. I don't know.
So there was these two lovers, and they built the tunnels to get to each other. Actually, you know what?
I don't remember that being about Omashu.
Yeah, it's about Omashu.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, then what's the backstory to Boston Say?
I don't know.
I mean, that one has the huge wall.
Well,
I feel like that was more of a backstory.
Yeah. But anyway, those apparently were the two first Earthbenders, which doesn't really match up with the Korra backstory, which is, because back in the Wan days, there were only the people on the lion turtles.
Yeah. So there was 4 lion turtles, and there were people living on the backs of each lion turtle. Those lion turtles aren't very big. Also, was that the world then?
Yeah.
Was that like a Pangea type thing where it's like they separated into 3 continents?
There was land, and then the lion turtles could fly. They just literally hovered on the back of them and existed. And then Juan was just like, you know what? There's like so much more land out there, but I need something to protect myself. He got like all these, I think they actually went off the lion turtles to hunt. I don't know, it's super confusing.
So like boats. So they treated the lion turtles like boats.
Yeah, kinda. But that doesn't really match up with the Omashu backstory, which is the two lovers were from opposing towns. They loved each other. They like dug through the mountain with earthbending that they learned from the badger moles to get to each other, and they would always change it up. And basically, true love will lead the way, which spoiler alert.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Alright, so Aang dresses up in Appa's fur to sneak into Omashu, which doesn't really make sense because, like, Katara and Sokka are also, like, kids.
Yeah, well, I think it's not only, I guess maybe it was the kids thing, but I thought they were trying to disguise themselves from being an airbender and Southern Water Tribe people. Like, obviously, the Northern Water Tribe people dress differently than the Southern Water Tribe people.
Well, not really.
Yeah, because the Northern Water Tribe dresses, they still wear blue, but it's more lavish and, like, more fur. Like, there was no fur.
Yeah, there was.
In the Southern Water Tribe, no.
Yeah.
There was maybe hide, but not, like, puffy fur.
All right. Well,
they had, like, fur coming out of everything. Maybe I'm just thinking about the moon spirit.
Yeah. But anyway, which doesn't really make sense, because then, like, also Aang has his airbender clothing on.
I know. Like, there's only, all the airbenders have been wiped out. And nobody's gonna raise suspicion that, also that this airbender is the grandfather to these Southern Water Tribe kids.
Like, I don't know. It's weird. So then they go in, and the thing about Omashu is that it's really steep because it's on a mountain. And I don't know, what are their main exports? Transporting things really quickly throughout the top of the city to the bottom?
Well, no, I think they're just doing everything within the city, and that's just their convenient mail system. They're innovators. No one else is doing that.
Do they really need all that mail? Like,
well, mail, like, packages, like, stuff you need to get from place to place. Okay, I guess. It doesn't make much sense because it only works if you're trying to transport something downhill.
Yeah. I mean, you could transfer uphill because they are earthbenders, but it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's like at that point, might as well just
on
like
this
punch
podcast
it to go up and then to the side.
Yeah, but yeah. So then,
every time I listen to this and I hear one of us say that, I'm just like, I'm a drummer. F.
Anyway,
press F for respect. Thank you for that F for respect.
Take this L.
See, we use F differently. Whenever either me, Hannah, or Carly, like, tell a joke, the rest of us will grade it. You know, like you grade schoolwork, like an A to an F. Yeah.
Yeah, and we always say F because none of us are funny, except for me. Well,
sometimes I try to give Carly encouragement when a joke is, makes
I
a little
give
bit
her
of sense.
Truth. It's terrible. She's not
I'll give
funny.
her a C sometimes. She almost cried one time. I gave her like a B. She was like, "Really?"
But yeah, I think I've given some B's or C's. Never an A. Nothing's been that funny. So we're not paying respects.
It's potential though. Like it's something that definitely could happen.
Yeah.
You could make a joke that was an A. You're laughing. You're slapping that table. That deserves an A.
Stop, please. Anyway, oh my god, I'm so out of breath. Jesus.
Hannah's fainting because she's talking too much.
I know, literally. I ate like an entire box of mozzarella sticks. And the thing is that they weren't even good. Like, they were bad.
I thought they were good. I had 2 of them, the ones you left behind, and they were good.
I don't know.
They weren't, like, stringy. I think there was too much bread, which isn't a usual complaint. Usually my complaint is that there's not enough bread and that it's too much filling.
Okay, but, like, I don't know. It's just when you eat a lot, there's, like, a really buttery and oily taste to it.
That's why you
so
don't
gross.
eat 50 at one time.
All right. It was 15, not 15. It's disappointing. I literally cried for those mozzarella sticks, and I didn't even enjoy that much.
Why did you want mozzarella sticks?
I don't know.
You don't eat mozzarella sticks.
I know, ever. But like mozzarella and bread, God, I love it. Thoughts?
Sad, pity.
Also, our backstory for the thoughts ? Is when I was telling, it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, over in the summer, we were in Idaho, all right, to see the great lunar eclipse. Was it lunar? No, solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah, solar
eclipse. It was dark.
Yeah, and I was telling Shannon a joke. Not really a joke, like a funny story. Something funny. And I, like, paused afterwards because I was, like, waiting for her response, but she didn't say anything. So I just said, thoughts? Because I wanted her to respond.
Yeah, but I think that's been done before.
I don't think so. I think that was the first, like, I don't know. We've been using it ever since. So whenever we, like, say something weird.
Yeah, at my college, I was in their sketch show, and we were filming it, and they're like, just kind of do whatever you want here. So I changed the script so that I'd say, thoughts?
Yeah. Because I need constructive criticism.
I need to brand it. I need to brand the word thoughts.
Yeah. I need to.
Thought. Yeah.
F. Anyway, we had the Cabbage Man cameo.
Oh yeah, the Cabbage Man came up like 3 times in this. Poor Cabbage Man. Okay, so he's an earthbender. Was he only in this season?
Is he an earthbender or is he a non-bender?
I think he's a non-bender.
Yeah,
why else would he be selling cabbages?
I know.
Everyone else is just marketing and just banking off their bending abilities.
Yeah.
I guess if you're a non-bender, you kind of are a farmer, and I mean,
you're
what
a
else
peasant.
Is there?
You're
you are. Yeah, there's a caste system. In this.
Anon in Korra season 1, he basically wanted to take away all the powers of everyone. It isn't really a logical system because, like, a lot of their economy revolves around benders. But benders definitely have, like, the upper hand in the society.
Definitely.
Like, they're so much more respected.
Yeah, they are respected more. They're definitely seen as superior.
Yeah, man. Dude, Anon was right.
I know. It's like one of those, it's definitely something political because you're like, oh, Anon is evil. We have to stop him. But it's like, he's honestly trying to create like a type of equality. I mean, not necessarily the right type of equality.
Yeah, kind of like the capitalism. Not capitalism, communism.
It's like an extremist thinking you're doing the right thing type of thing.
Yeah.
But he was also evil. You know, I kind of don't like when they do that. Or no, I do like when they do that because in movies and stuff, when they create the bad character
Usually they
villain,
give them like a sad backstory, so you feel bad for them. So you're like, this isn't a bad person. They just think that what they're doing is right.
But those ones where they really make it so that the villain thinks they're doing the right thing and they think they're doing it for the right reasons. Those are always like, who wins?
I know. It's like it's just so sad because then you're
then nobody feels satisfied after the movie because you're like, I don't know.
We should really demonize the villains and the antagonists because I'm done with feeling bad for the thing.
I know.
Like a lot they do that.
I don't mind when villains have a backstory that makes you feel sorry for them, like Kylo Ren. But see, even so, like Kylo Ren is a great example because is he actually a bad person?
I know. Is he actually a bad person? Or like
in the part where he was like talking to Rey, he's like come join me, we'll create a new society. I feel like he doesn't want to do evil. But he still wants to rule. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, God.
I feel like he was like he's not like a part of the bad people.
Star Wars podcast. But yeah, I don't know. But with Sozin,
Ozai. Ozai was really evil. Sozin, so evil.
But okay. So
no redeemable qualities. I mean, he freaking banished his son.
Yeah, but like he thought he was doing the right thing, but obviously it was the wrong thing. You know, he didn't really have any justification for it. Yeah. I don't know. I just I hate it when I feel bad for the things.
It's like, this also happens in movies where whenever there's a couple together and there's the other character who's usually the main character that wants let's say it's a guy and he wants the girl. Mm-hmm. And so usually what happens is the guy the girl is with ends up cheating with the girl so the girl can go over to the main character.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
But what about those scenarios where like the guy and the girl are perfectly fine together but the main character is still alone and wants the girl? And, like, he gets the girl, but nothing that the guy dating the girl did was ever wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And then no situations. So that's why
ugly people culture.
Movies will always, like, demonize the boyfriend that she's with.
I know.
But that's not what happens in real life. And sometimes movies will do that where the boyfriend didn't do anything bad. And every time in those scenarios, you're like, but were they... That's what happened with Steve and Nancy in Stranger Things. Like, obviously, he was supposed to be the one that was thrown aside, but then you're like, wait, he's kind of good and I kind of like him, and I don't know, I don't want her to break up with him.
I can go on about what's that guy's name?
Steve?
The crackhead guy?
Oh, the crackhead
Jonathan? Guy. Jonathan. I hated Jonathan and Nancy. Why? First of all, he looks like a crackhead even though his character wasn't a crackhead in Stranger Things. But he is so gosh darn ugly, literally, and then Nancy's so pretty, and Steve is so wholesome. He's being a good boyfriend. He's like literally, he didn't do anything wrong, yet he comes there with flowers, and he supports Nancy through literally everything, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go hook up with this crackhead for no reason.
And it's like you're watching it and you're like, I know she's gonna end up with Jonathan.
There's
but
literally
no
reason.
They did it in a good way, a little bit. Where they're like, because in the second season they're like, we just don't belong together. Like we're just not working out. We're like two great people.
Nancy and Joss.
Jonathan?
And
Steve.
No, they were great together.
Yeah,
literally,
they just kind of made
it's all
rocky.
Nancy's fault because she was just like, I'm not getting all the attention and validation I need.
Yeah, it was a lame excuse for why they broke up.
Why did they even break up?
Because she was like, it's BS. It's all BS.
It's not, though. Like, they were literally in a loving relationship. Steve was doing he changed his entire morale for Nancy because he was in love. And also at the same time, you don't have to, like, stay with somebody because, like, if they don't love you anymore, no matter what happened, like, you shouldn't be in the relationship because it would be, like, a one-way relationship. So that's bad either way. And you can't, like, feel sorry for yourself for somebody else leaving because it's not really your choice. But Steve literally did nothing wrong. He is the high school dream boy, and she just broke his heart. Mama talking about, like, me and all the boys have, like, turned
all the
down.
boys I've loved before.
Dude, I love that movie. Oh, that movie is so good. Do you know what movie sucks and we should do a review on?
The Kissing Booth?
The Kissing Booth. God. Oh, my God.
But,
anyway,
that one's, like, entertaining.
The Sierra Borges.
Same girl from Stranger Things.
No. Is it?
Yeah. You know that? She's Barb in the Stranger Things.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, like Sierra Burgess is a loser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I kind of thought that, but I don't know. She seemed fatter in the thing. Yeah.
Jeez. Her name is Shannon, just like me.
That's so unfortunate.
For me? For who?
For her. But anyway, I've heard, like, terrible things. Okay, what's the plot of that movie? I think she, like, the Noah Ciento dream guy, I think he's also the main character in that movie, too.
I knew him when he was on Disney Channel.
Oh, man,
like
that was
5
rough.
years ago.
Noah Ciento. Literally, he kind of looks like Joey Richter in the sense that his face is kind of messed up. It's, like, kind of okay now because he's just grown into it, but his face was definitely messed up as a child. He has dark eyes and dark hair, so obviously everybody's gonna fall in love with him.
He's
and
tall.
That's the tea.
Steaming, piping hot.
F.
How is that tea? Tell me how that's tea. People say, and that's the tea, when they're just saying, like, blatant facts.
Facts! That's when you put F-A-C-K-S. Wait.
F-A...
Yeah. Or F-A-X-X.
I like that one. Facts.
Facts me.
That is facts. It's a wax figure, and we are anti-vax.
I can't even comprehend how bad that was. You call yourself a comedian, and then
I don't call myself a comedian. The world does. My Instagram bio does.
F. Dude, my Instagram says professional pun teller. I should be, like, professional podcast person. PPP.
I think you can only put professional if you are good at it.
Anyway, Avatar? I think we were on the Cabbage Man.
Oh, yeah. Somehow, Cabbage turned to bad guys. Who was the bad guy? Turned to relationships.
No. It was Cabbage, the supremacy of the Benders.
Oh, yeah.
Then the bad guys. Then Star Wars. All that stuff. God, we're so off topic.
It's important discussion stuff.
It really is, because it gives a lot more depth to the Avatar thing.
Yeah.
Is Sozin? I mean, Ozai? I almost said Uzi. Little Uzi. I'm gonna hit you with that Uzi. I think that's what it is. Wait,
think
is
so.
it Uzi? Little Uzi?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's the guy that says, I don't know, it's only the third day out here.
I don't even know what that's from.
I don't know either. He just says, I don't know, it's my third day out here. Anyway, Cabbage Man. So, the Cabbage Man is a reoccurring character. One of the best reoccurring characters.
Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't say he's a background character. It's definitely like a reoccurring extra.
Alright, so they get into, I almost said Omashu, but no, it is Omashu.
Yeah.
So they get into Omashu, and Omashu, I think I've already said this, but it's like their main thing is that they have, like, these sliding things.
Because, like you said, it's on a mountain.
Yeah. So it's kind of like not buckets, like bins.
Yeah.
And they just send things through bins.
But you can only send them down.
Yeah.
So tell me how that makes sense. Besides shooting it up in the air.
Yeah.
You can shoot it up in the air.
I'm really sorry again. But anyway, so Aang is just like, guys, you gotta try this. So they get into a bin, and which I don't understand how the bins slide. Because it's like rock against rock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess when you're thinking about it, you're like, oh, yeah, it's just two,
if they had
smooth
wheels,
surfaces going against. But then you think about rocks, they're not going to slide against each other.
And then especially with the erosion, like, it's going to be so rough.
Yeah,
like,
they're not managing that mountain.
Yeah, they're going to be sand everywhere. Like, if they had wheels, that'd be a different story. But they don't have wheels. It's just, like, crunchy rock. Like, imagine that, just two rocks grinding against each other.
I guess there is, like, landslides. But still, that's like loose dirt.
Yeah, that's literally mud. Landslides are mud.
Landslide brings me down. Rocks.
No. F. Mr. F.
Mr. F. That's what you should call me now.
Yeah. Hi, this is Hannah, and
I'm Mr. F here. Mr. F. For British eyes only. I forgot the tune to it.
I think it's... Anyway, so they're going through these mail carts. So they're going down. Katara and Sokka's just like, And then Aang's just like, woohoo. And then out of nowhere, like this bin of knives just comes shooting down.
The least efficient way to carry knives.
I know.
They're just pointing forward. Obviously, someone's going to have to be there to stop it. It's obviously plummeting toward the town.
Well, yeah, but you can stop it because it's made out of earth. Earthbenders.
Yeah, but imagine someone just walking by.
That's probably how they, like, make sure no kids ride the thing.
Yeah. They're not actually shipping it. They're just making sure that no one is.
Yeah, just like a clear out the lane.
Then Aang goes on about King Boomy, which... It's like, I wonder if I watch this...
He doesn't go on about King Boomy.
Oh,
he goes...
About his friend Boomy. But he must have been in line for the throne. This isn't a democracy.
It could have been. It could have been, like, their
You
line.
don't vote your king into office or kingmanship.
I guess so. But, like, if there's no heirs... I guess it goes to a relative.
Yeah, so he must have known he was on the... There are two important people, the king of Omashu and
the friend of Omashu.
and the avatar. Okay, so there's a king of Omashu.
Yeah.
There's a king of a city, or I guess it could be like a state or a country or whatever.
Well, no, there's a city which is the most, like, riches-centric place, and then obviously there's farmers on the outside of it.
But there's a Fire Nation king for the entire Fire Nation. But...
I guess so.
There's no, like, Earth King. Oh, there is an Earth King.
There's literally an Earth King.
So, that's so weird, though. Then who is Boomy? What's he in charge of? The city? That's called a mayor. That's like a duke or something, right? That's not a king.
I don't know.
Does he ever say King Boomy?
Yeah. Literally King Boomy.
You know what? That's probably his rapper name.
Stop.
He's probably just like... He probably is just like the mayor, or, the governor of the city. And then he's like, my name, he changed his name to like King Boomy for the clout.
Honestly, it's something that I would do.
I know you would do that.
I know.
That's so weird that the Earth King is in charge of the whole Earth.
That's such an unfair name. Like,
I know.
Fire. What are you, the king of fire?
Yeah, it's like, I'm the king of Mars.
Yeah.
Like, I can bend Mars.
And, like, Sue in the Korra series, she wasn't the queen of whatever city.
Yeah, but that's because they started adopting, like, political entities.
They did, and that's why I literally hate the series.
You said that so many times about how you hate it because of the politicalness.
Mm-hmm. But also, like, if anybody breathes the word political, I'm like...
breathing back. Mm-hmm. But if I would have watched this now, I think I would have known that something was up with the flashback with Aang, with this kid Boomy, because he's never been introduced before. Like, that's what happens now in stories nowadays, when you come to realize when you're older, it's like, oh, if someone's introduced at the beginning of the story as some irrelevant character, odds are it's going to be relevant at the end. And it usually happens in mysteries. And this is sort of a mystery because he's like, what's my name? You're supposed to be like, how are we as an audience supposed to know who he is? That's something I never would have thought of when I was a kid. But I wonder if I watched it now without knowing who he is and everything, if I would have been like, oh, obviously it's going to be him.
Somebody, I feel like, I don't know, somebody would pick it up. But anyway, so they get caught because, you're not supposed to ride the mail carts. And
there's no written rule. There's no sign.
It's not written in stone, but it is because it's earthbenders. So they get taken to quote-unquote King Boomy.
Yeah, we're still questioning his authoritative shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Mm. And you know what? He lives a long time. Like, they revisit Omashu, like, I think it's the next season?
I think they only revisit Omashu like one other time, and it's towards the end of the series. It's when Aang needs to go to King Boomy to ask about something, but he's trapped in the box. You know what I'm talking about?
No. It's in season 2.
It's like in darker times.
Because he asks King Boomy if he can teach him earthbending.
Oh yeah. Why did he do that when he was there?
Because he needed to master water first.
I guess, but he didn't really need to. I mean, while he was there.
I mean, yeah.
I guess he felt an obligation to Katara.
I don't know, man. It's on my 3rd day out here. Little Uzi. But anyway, so they get taken to Mr. King, Boomy, and Boomy's just like, you know what we should do?
Let's throw them a feast.
F. But anyway, he's like, yeah, let's throw him a feast. And throughout this entire dinner, he's just telling bad puns, which I resonate on a spiritual level.
Also, there's this moment where he throws a chicken wing at Aang, and Aang, like, uses his airbending to catch it, and he goes, ah, the Avatar! Which makes no sense, because he's obviously dressed up in airbending attire.
Yeah, everybody's dressed up as, like, their bendings.
Yeah, and so he's obviously an airbender, and then he catches it using airbending, and then he says, the Avatar!
I feel like a lot of people get, like, airbending and avataring mixed up, because, I don't know, the series is called Avatar.
You think that the writers or the King's character is gonna get airbending and Avatar ship confused?
I don't know. But anyway, Boomy kind of knows that he's the Avatar. Right?
I think what it is that everyone in this series has this knowledge that there's no more airbenders left, and that if there is an airbender left, it's because it's the Avatar. But how in the world do people know that? That seems to be like a general assumption that people have. Mm-hmm. When it's like, he's an airbender, he must be the Avatar.
But it has been 100 years since...
I know, but who knows that he froze himself and that he's still alive? I guess people have to know he's still alive because he wasn't reincarnated.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no, like, newspaper that goes throughout the entire world. So, and there's no television or radio or mass...
With merchants, I feel like there is news, you know?
I mean, there was that scene with the word of mouth, but still, that was just between a town.
Was it?
Yeah, that was just in one single town. And it got to Zuko. Well, maybe it was across towns because it was told to, like, someone who was on a ship.
Yeah, dude, having, like, sailing skills, that must have had you made, like, back in the day.
Sailing skills? They're not sailing. Their boats run on engines.
Oh, yeah. No. Sokka sails.
Yeah, as, like, for fun, for, like, sport.
Yeah, I guess they do have engines. Which you gotta think about, like, if you're placing this in, like, the world history of our world, like, are they going through their industrial... I guess they would be going through the industrial
it's very
revolution.
Steampunk.
Yeah.
Which is strange, because Korra is also kind of steampunk.
It's like...
They're different kinds of steampunk. Yeah. I'm thinking steampunk in the sense of when they went to that one air temple, when those earthbending nomads took it over and they were inventing things. That was very steampunk, but nothing else. Some of the firebending gear, like when they were destroying the Ba Sing Se wall with that caterpillar like drill, that was steampunk.
Yeah.
And industrial, but
I don't think they have trains in this series.
They do. No. Do they?
They definitely have trains.
They
in
have
Korra.
some kind of transport system that resembles trains, but
they
not
have that
Korra's.
like monorail system at Ba Sing Se.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's not really like trains, which
is
weird.
Like carts.
Which is
that was
train.
That's kind of like a car.
What
they were riding in? I mean, it was some kind of mass transport. Do they have cars in Avatar? I'm drawing a blank. They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They have cars in Korra.
How do they move from place to place?
Usually with animals.
Yeah, but like if you're in a city, I think they have carts. Yeah, pulled by animals. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they have carts. They just kind of cart.
That's kind of strange though. How they have something like I was saying with the Ba Sing Se wall, that drill that obviously moves with a powered engine. Yeah, why don't they have something resembling cars?
I don't know.
So that was like the big thing of Korra is like, whoa, they have cars.
Yeah, I just didn't like how they rushed into it. I don't know. It's just it felt weird to me because it's like all of a sudden it's like the 20s when in Avatar.
Yeah, it's just not the same world.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we rewatch it and like talk about it on the podcast, I think you'd reappreciate it. If you like actually watch the episodes, because I know for me, like I never really watched the episodes of Korra. Yeah, they just kind of played in the background.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird. But I feel like they would have like a mass transport of things. You know?
I mean, the Fire Nation. Well, they have boats. That's the mass transport, I guess.
Yeah. But with, like, the Earth Kingdom, such a landlocked society.
Yeah. You're gonna want to transport stuff from, like, farms to the city and whatnot.
I mean, I guess they could, like, earthbend their way to and from.
Right. This sits on rock. I can ride this baby for miles.
Oh my god, he's the one who created earthbending.
I know.
Squidward.
Yeah, SpongeBob when he sat on that rock.
Yeah, it was SpongeBob.
He's like, yeehaw!
Stop.
Earthbenders be like,
oh man,
you probably could do that too. Here's what I'm wondering.
Technically, you could. Couldn't you?
How grounded do you have to be to bend? Like, if you're sitting on a rock, could you earthbend the rock up? Or is it kind of like a spiritual muscle where physics still applies, where if you're lifting something, you kind of have that weight, like, pushing you on the ground as you're lifting up?
I think we had this conversation before.
We had a different physics conversation.
Yeah, it was about the
similar
flying thing. But anyway, alright, so, we have so much to get through.
You just gonna gloss over my...
That's true. I feel like... I don't know about this one, Chief. For Earthbenders, it's very prominent that it's, like, a mind bustle, but also with I don't know, with Toph.
Airbending, they can do that. But I guess there's no real, force of air that you need to lift up. Like, you're not lifting up air.
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of moving it around. Whereas rocks, you're, like, lifting it up physically.
But with Toph, she, like, did things so effortlessly.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it's, like, a physical strength thing.
It's
definitely
a mental
strength, but I think it still takes that physical stance.
Yeah.
Of, like, being grounded. I mean, because technically the firebenders, when they were in the hot air balloons, they were using their firebending to create hot air into the air balloon to pull themselves up. I don't think that's necessarily similar.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so King Boomy's like, let's throw them a feast. And he's like, let us leave. So he puts them in this really bougie prison, which is honestly...
Yeah, it's the
so
refurbished
bougie.
one. That used to be the bad one.
Mm-hmm. But then they extreme home makeovers, and it, like, has 3 beds, all bougied out, and they're like, wait, we need to escape. Where was Appa during all this? I guess it only was one day.
They should have an episode where it's like, what Appa was doing on this day. Although there is sort of an episode where he was lost.
Dude,
I hated those episodes.
I know, it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, because Aang was so angsty.
I know.
And he's usually so
angsty.
Chipper. Good one.
Oh, man. Dude, Appa, for real, was probably just laying there.
Like, yeah. I mean, he's like a dog.
Appa noise.
But also, they're in the city. Oh, no.
Duh. They were outside the city.
They left Appa outside the city. That's right. They're like, sorry, buddy, you can't come in.
Yeah. So then, during the night, King Boomy's like, I almost said apprentices. Soldiers, take Katara and
Sokka.
Soka.
Sock. Socks?
Soda. Take Soda and Katara.
Sister Sokka.
Sister Sokka.
Don't bully him like this.
Listen, I can bully James Charles all I want. He brings it on himself.
He's super rich.
I know, dude. I wish I was living the James Charles life.
He's my age.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
That's so depressing. Look at you. And look at him. I don't know. I think he said something. He was just like, boys, like, shouldn't do that. And he's like, I'm barely a boy, but next question. Anyway. So, King Boomy's just like, time to do these tasks for me.
Also, there's no doors in this earthbending, palace. They just kind of bend a door.
Which doesn't make sense, because if you're imprisoning earthbenders, couldn't they earthbend their way out?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe they're just very prejudiced and they really only lock up people who aren't benders or are other benders.
Oh, man. Because, like, I guess the only...
Because that means if you were a waterbender, like, you couldn't find a way to... Like Katara was doing with the jail that one time with her sweat. Like,
I know, but, like...
She couldn't do that with the walls. She couldn't find any way to... If there was a door, she probably could. Like, hinges or something.
No. Because if you're in the water tribe, everything's just made out of water. And ice. you know?
Yeah.
So they could, like, literally just melt it.
Yeah. No one could imprison any other bender in...
Yeah. Dude, this whole system... We're
uncovering
the prejudice against non-benders, dude. Sokka is the real victim.
I know. Oh, my... For some reason, I totally forgot that Sokka was a non-bender.
Yeah.
Because he's from a nation.
Yeah. But he's just so useless. Oh, man.
I think it's so strange that the Water Nation is the only nation that really acknowledges non-benders. You don't really hear about non-benders.
Yeah, I guess so.
In other places.
Really the only
the
southern water tribe.
Yeah, just because they took away all the benders.
Yeah. Anyway, so King Boomy's just like, the first thing is like, I'm hungry. Get me my lunch. And it's like this key in this waterfall. And
a tin lunchbox.
Yeah. So
so 80s.
Basically, he tries to get the key. It doesn't work. So he literally takes this spike rock, rips the top off, which I don't know if that's like earthy or just ironic, or maybe like it was already like crunched off.
What, that he shouldn't have had the strength to rip it off? Yeah.
Literally, that was ripping off a piece of rock.
Like big, thick rock.
Yeah, like thick boy.
And then here's another physics thing. I guess we just have, this isn't even a bending physics thing. This is just like,
Bill Nye, we are coming for your brand.
This is just like a kid's show bending the laws of physics thing. Where he throws it into the water, the streaming waterfall that he couldn't climb up because it was just too extreme of a waterfall. He throws it in, but the waterfall doesn't like destroy it. Somehow his throw was so powerful.
It
ignored the...
he blows the air through, so it's like a thing of clear.
Oh, see, this must have been a part where I was talking and not listening while watching
the
episode.
Literally in the entire episode. Anyway, the second task, King Boomy's just like, I lost my little pet bunny, please find him.
Mr. Flopsy, where are you?
Flopsy, please come home. Mr. Wolbaba, please find Flopsy. Petition to do the rest of the podcast like that.
Permission granted.
Oh my god. So, Aang, goes to find Floppy, and he's like, Floppy, come here. But it turns out to be this giant ape.
How did he know that, though?
What do you mean?
I feel like this was supposed to be the turning point where he realized this was Boomy, because he knew Boomy had a pet named Flopsy, who was a giant animal.
No, because Boomy
that's
probably
what I
didn't
always
have
thought
it when he was young.
If that animal can live to 100 true animals usually live shorter than humans. Is it nice?
Think. Is it thoughtful? Is it helpful? Is it intelligent? Is it nice? Is it kind? Think before you speak.
But so even if he realized, or if he thought, okay, let's pretend that this big, huge animal that's chasing me is Flopsy, he was just kind of like, oh, if I say his name Flopsy and address it to him, he'll just bow at my every move.
Yeah, because that's how obedient animals are.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess if it's the king's animal, then it should be pretty obedient.
Yeah, it should. Just like...
that bunny was probably its dinner, to be honest.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude.
That was so small. It was probably a snack to him.
Flopsy was definitely not a vegan. Did you see them tusks?
Yeah.
He was like, munch.
It's like a boar mixed with a polar bear mixed with something ripped. That was I've never seen an animal in real life that ripped.
Maybe a gorilla. Gorillas are super ripped.
True. It was kind of gorilla-like. I'd say gorilla mixed with a boar, but like 2 times the size.
Oh yeah. Huge.
Or
maybe like a mammoth.
Did he have these arenas for these challenges set up beforehand?
Probably.
He probably just has a bunch of arenas for like a bunch of different situations that he needs to like creatively trick someone into remembering who he is, because he's so old.
I know. Anyway, his third task was to fight either like this really bad guy with knives,
who kind of looked like Zuko, because he had scars over his eyes.
Yeah.
His one
and
eye.
Another guy, which I don't remember because I definitely was not paying
He was
attention.
Like, the first guy was kind of like Kylo Ren, like, where it's like skinny and ponytail and like dark and emo, but like with knives. So you're like, ooh, they don't care about their life. Who knows what they're gonna do?
Honestly,
and the other guy was more like, I'm very ripped and very secure with my manhood, and I'm not secure with my manhood, and that's why I need to put my life into pointy objects like knives and swords.
I think the first one was more knife like centric, and the second one was more like bending centric.
And the middle option is Boomy.
No, he wasn't an option, but Aang was like a smart bet, and he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna beat you old man. So Boomy's just like, bet. He rips off his clothes. His hunch goes away. Dr. Doofenshmirtz wishes he could be that.
Yeah, no wonder he lived to freaking 120 years old.
He's literally super freaking like ripped. His clothes almost busted off. Honestly, that scene with Boomy ripping off his robes has the same energy as Zuko during the Agni Kai with General Zhao. Yeah. Or Commander.
Yeah, but Zhao wasn't that old.
No, Zuko unveiling his
Oh,
robes.
yeah.
Same energy.
No, not at all. Zuko was like puny, and it was like...
he was pretty ripped for a 16-year-old.
For a 16-year-old, but he still had like little narrow shoulders, and it was like...
That's true.
It wasn't like supposed to be a reveal of like, yeah, I got it.
Stop.
Count the abs.
No. But anyway, so they battle it out. Boomy's kind of like low-key destroying Aang. But then...
I feel like Boomy could beat Aang.
Oh yeah, definitely. 100%.
And he has this point... This is what I don't understand also. They have points where someone's in a position that they surrender. Where it's like the other person is over top of them somehow, and they're like, I'm in control of this moment. But in this, the moment he was in control, and a lot of through the series, this moment he was in control is like he was just standing in front of them with his staff pointed at him. He could have easily done something.
Yeah, but I just feel like that's...
He obviously wasn't trying to beat him though, or anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was just testing him.
I guess that's how battles are. If you're not trying to kill the other person.
Number 1. The 10 dual commandments.
But yeah, so then Aang kind of like beats, kind of like goes into a truce.
It was like a pity surrender, honestly.
And Boomy's just like, wait, one last question. What is my name? But then Aang doesn't know that that's King Boomy yet. So he's just like, Rocky? And Katara's really supportive. She's like, you know what? I don't think so, but you know, we'll come back to that. Honestly, how my teachers talk to me when like I don't understand something for the 5th time, they're like, it's okay. There's classes for special needs kids. But Aang's just like, wait. This guy made me think. I know who he is. He is Boomy. But then also, like, at the same time, Sokka and Katara are low-key in a life and death situation because they have these, like, crystals that are slowly engulfing their body.
It's fast because he's been at this competition, this trial for what? Like 2 hours,
morning.
maybe?
One morning.
Yeah. And it's already grown from a finger ring length to over Sokka's head.
Yeah. It's pretty unfortunate.
I don't understand why they never licked it. It's right near your face. It's, like, shiny.
We had this conversation. If you had a rock growing on your hand, you wouldn't just lick it. No, you would.
Okay,
you
okay.
would.
But
normal
listen,
people
it
wouldn't.
wasn't, like, a dirt-looking rock. It was, like, pink
it was a shiny
and purple.
Rock. It was a shiny rock.
It was shiny and pink and purple. That's the colors of flavor. Flavor Town!
Do you know what? It was kind of like green and purplish pinkish.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Pastel?
No.
Oh.
Wanda and Cosmo.
Oh.
It's also a Nickelodeon show. Could make sense. Yeah.
Crossover. Is this a crossover episode?
Oh, man. They should have had a crossover episode. Just imagine, like...
Who should have a crossover episode?
SpongeBob and Avatar.
Oh.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No. But there was, like a Nick-wide game. You know how they used to do those, like, in the early... or the late 2010 or early 2010s, late 2000s, where it was like they had Disney games and Nickelodeon games, where it was like a Nickelodeon game that included all of the Nickelodeon characters.
I don't think Nickelodeon had that. I know
no,
that Disney
Nickelodeon did. It definitely did, because I think one of the games they always had at our McDonald's. We had a little gaming system at our McDonald's. It never worked. But there was a Nickelodeon game where it's like Aang is there and also SpongeBob and then also other characters from shows.
You know what? That's right. I can't remember what it is.
You know what didn't need a crossover? Jimmy Neutron and Timmy Turner.
Oh god, that's the worst thing. That gave me nightmares. That's literally so unnecessary.
Yeah, I actually kind of liked, it felt unnatural, but I kind of liked Jimmy in Timmy's universe, but Timmy in Jimmy's universe.
Oh man. Honestly, that's my 24/7 mood. That's like what I see when I look in the mirror. Just like, ugh.
Super rounded buck teeth.
Literally, I've like major buck teeth. Not buck teeth. It's just my two front teeth are very large.
No, they're not. They're not large. It's that your other teeth are very, very small.
Dude, I have such small teeth.
I feel like if I just flicked my finger on your tooth, it would just fly out of your mouth.
Honestly, probably. Like, I feel like Charlie in that one episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where his teeth are just falling out.
He's like, dude, it's just coming out. He's like, I can't help it.
So then, that's the episode.
I don't understand how he got, what made him figure out that it was Boomy.
It's
what
probably
was the
just,
thing?
Well, because Boomy would always just like, I guess he was a prankster back in his old days, you know? And
that's the thing.
Pranked, bro.
I was pranked, so it must be my friend from 100 years ago.
I mean, he was an old guy. It's not outlandish.
You know, in all these flashbacks Aang has where he's like around the world, or I guess that was the only one. He's never like he said he's been to the Fire Nation because he knows all the lingo and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's never a flashback of him in the old days at the Fire Nation. But in all the flashbacks, anyways, he's 12 years old. Mm-hmm. So that means everything must have happened that 1 year.
Yeah,
he traveled the world the 1 year.
Probably.
We could write a whole backstory on Aang because so much has happened that isn't said explicitly in the series.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously traveled the world. That's never told. He obviously had parents. Where are they? Who are they?
Honestly. Like, why doesn't he have daddy issues? But that's for next podcast. So basically, that was the end of the episode. We really didn't pay attention. But I hoped you like our commentary on literally anything else.
Wait, before we go, I just have to say, last episode, Hannah said I was wrong. And I went along with it when she said it was called Meteoroid Blast, not Metroid Blast. And I knew I was right.
All right, that was the end of the podcast. JoJo Siwa here. But we'll be... I'm a JoJo Siwa stan.
That was my JoJo Siwa impression.
Thanks, I hated it. Anyway, so we'll be back next week with chapter 6. Because
we're reading this. If you didn't know, we're actually reading every episode.
Mm-hmm. And we're just imagining things in our minds very, very vividly.
Well, that's our episode. Have a very Sokka day. Yeah.